is Input. It's a 3D printing company where we get your design. Say you have a drawing or plans for a sculpture, but you don't have the materials or the software to create it. Well, you bring that drawing to us. We'll ask you to make a multi-view, in which you draw the left side, the front side, the right side, and the top side, and then we create it on CAD and we'll 3D print for you. Here's an example. It's actually a child's toy it's the idea of one of our fellow students. He made it in one of the classes. Next slide.
That's you guys.
So our purpose is to provide the citizens of Fort Wayne with customized, personalized accessories or however they want. So like Cayden said, if you want to make a specialized toy for your child's birthday with their name on it, you can give the designs to us and we can make that for you. That's what we want for all of Fort Wayne.
Our objective is to provide people with the opportunity to have their ideas made in real life. Because most people aren't able to make these things. Because the software alone that we use, it's $3,000 a year. And that's just for the software. You can't even 3D print with that, you can only make the file.
You guys are a little off center or something with
Yeah.
your slide. Like this is
Yeah.
blocking it.
It doubled up their print.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
doubled up our print inside.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to make a commercial. We don't want to have a radio spot because of the fact that we want it to be through word of mouth. Because when you hear your friend refer something to you, you usually are more trusting of your friend to refer you to a good business, and you're more trusting of us to get our job done correctly.
Okay, social media. We created a Twitter and a flyer, as you can see right in front of you. The Twitter is easy to find, and the flyer is very eye-catching with the colors. And you can find our Twitter at InputCC. And we have a Weebly website. And that is just basically our business and everything that you need to know about it if you need to learn more. That's our flyer.
So a major competitor in the 3D printing field is Sculptio. It's a 3D printing company, but it's entirely online based. So they allow you to upload a CAD file, computer assisted design, and they will take that file, fix any errors, and 3D print it out for you. The thing is, they don't have a physical storefront anywhere in the US, so if you have troubles, you can't go in and ask for help, and you can't get the software. Like Cayden said, it's $3,000, so you can't use their software if you need to.
Yeah, you have to already have the software to create your file in the first place, which even takes more money to actually learn how to use the software.
We change base resources and that we use to print them, and we've added 10%. And our hours we are open from 8 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m.
Our location is 1130 East State. If you've seen this building before, it is the Yellow Bird building. It used to be a Wells Fargo, which means that it's a smaller building, which is all that we really need. What we like about this place is it's right next to State and Crescent, which are two really busy streets, which means that we're going to get a lot of eyes looking to want to know what we are all about. This is also right next to Forest Park Boulevard, which means the higher class people, which means that more people would have the money to come pay for stuff that their own stuff.
Although it's open to all ages, we focus more on young and middle-aged groups, and the average age of the city is 35 years old. And the average household income that is made there is $49,307.
So while most other 3D printing companies are based just online, ours has an actual storefront. So people can come in and talk to us if they need ideas or help. And also, we don't make them buy the expensive computers and software and all that is required. They just give us the drawing, which most people can do, and we will do the hard part, translating it into the virtual for them.
businesses of Fort Wayne. We keep money in the city's economy instead of sending it to other businesses, because across the country to an online business is based like in the business.
So our gross profit is 193,000, and our total expenses are 561,000. Now, a major reason for the significant gap is because our building is not on an annual lease. We are just buying it outright for $269,000.
Our dream is to make your creations real. Your input is where
Your input matters. Thank you.
So you guys.
I'll start it off. Obviously I can tell you guys are very nervous being the first one. It's tough. It's for sure tough to come in front of a bunch of strangers staring at you. So, first of all, hats off for even walking in the door. You know what I'm saying? That's tough to do. When you don't, especially when you don't do it ever. Obviously, more eye contact from all of you guys. That's obviously key when you're speaking with someone. Move from eye to eye. When I was younger, I wasn't the best eye contact person. I learned to stare at people's foreheads so that we don't have to look at them dead in the eye. That's a great way to get used to looking at them. It looks like you're looking at it with the eye, but you're not. So keep that in mind if you ever want to do that. That might not be a bad idea. A couple ideas of the business. Why did you guys decide to buy the building at $269,000? I'd almost want to find out a way to lease that building. And reason being is when you start a business, you want to chunk out a boatload of money right up front and then not be successful, and then then you're SOL. I know that neighborhood very, very well, and I'm familiar with 3D printing. I love 3D printing. I think it's the wave of the future. I think what you can do with 3D printing can change the world. And they're doing hearts now, they're doing lungs, they're doing body parts, they're doing all kinds of things with 3D printing. How much would something like that cost?
It would depend what
Like that toy right there. If I brought that in,
right there.
what would that cost?
This would cost probably up to probably $6.
Okay, so it's pretty cheap then.
It is really cheap, but the reason being is because it's completely hollow, which we're gonna do with almost everything, to be honest, because we don't want to overprice our customers. Our prices are completely based on the charge it costs to get the materials and to actually create these with the power take up through the 3D printer. So then we add an extra 10% on top of that, and that would be our profit.
The 10%.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love 3D printing. A couple other things too. Let's see. That's pretty much it for the mall. I almost want to see like some kind of a price sheet, so if I come to you with a dollhouse I want to build. I don't know how much that would cost.
First, we would have to determine the amount of material. It depends on what material. Usually, most people use ABS plastic. That's actually what that's made of. It's one of the cheaper materials, and we would have to determine how much ABS plastic it would take to make that, and then we can determine a price based on that.
Yeah, I guess that would be my only concern is with the business plan, not knowing. You'd have to say, hey, this costs this much, because no one's gonna come to you and say, man, they're probably gonna be way too expensive. I don't even want to go in there and try and have that built. There's just got to be some kind of rough idea of what certain things cost, an average.
No,
that way you know what you're getting into.
The average would be around. Do you have any wisdom?
I think the average cost for a piece was something like $12 or $12 for a pretty good sized piece.
Yeah, that's all. I guess that if you guys could come up with some kind of a pricing sheet or chart or something, that I would have a rough idea of what I'm going to spend if I want to build my 9-year-old something.
We can come up with one really easily. It's just that we haven't actually had the time putting together.
Oh, I understand. And I'm sure there's a million different variations. I would almost just look like a cookie cutter.
I think the easiest way would be to have like a size, maybe a cube, and then print the cost of that much material.
Yeah, exactly. See, I think that would make a little bit more sense. But I would love it, like I said, and I live in that neighborhood. I live about 8 blocks away from there, so I would love something like that in the neighborhood. That neighborhood's an up and coming, big time. I get the grocery store going in right around the corner, which I'm excited about. But that would be great for that neighborhood too. So, and that building's been empty forever. Actually, Jeff, that was one of my first jobs. Remember that?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, but I don't really know what it would take to redo that building too. I'm sure there's a big vault in there from the old bank in there. That'd be something to look at too. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, been inside of there, but.
You can see quite well because of the glass, even though it means having to pay more heating costs in the winter, it shows people the inside,
Oh,
so they can
absolutely,
actually
yeah.
see what's happening.
Yeah, no, it's a great building, which is, you know, the interior, I don't know what you guys would do with the interior. But like I said, it's a great idea, and I think you guys get a lot of opportunity there for sure.
I just want to second that. 3D printing is very, very interesting. Have you looked at the public library as one of your competitors?
Yes.
We spoke to them. We based some of our numbers off them, like the average number of customers, but the competitive side is less so. They are cheaper to print than Sculptio. It's like $1 an hour.
Yeah.
But you still need to have expertise in CAD, the time to make it while at the library, and then
No, you actually can leave. Like you could put your name on it and come back for it while they make it there at the library. And they have software there that you can use. So what is the benefit of this $3,000 software versus the free software that I can use at the library?
Free software is generally free because of an educational license, which I think is limited to a certain number of years, like 3. But our software is Inventor Pro. That's why part of why it's so expensive, because it not only can we do the regular build a cube and cut bits off, but we could actually make machinery in case someone wanted that.
It has so many more tools and so many more design options for our software rather than theirs. Because another reason that theirs probably is free is because they have the lower software, because ours, like I said, ours is the professional version.
Is the $3,000 software that you're looking at? You said a year, right? Okay, so that's factored in. Because 10% is not a huge markup, which I appreciate as a customer, but it won't be very much for your profit since you're paying everything outright. Your materials would be expensive as well.
It is $30 for one coil of ABS plastic, but like I said, the prices of our product are all determined by the prices of our material and
Yes.
Going back to that, I know you guys don't want to get too hung up on pricing right now, you don't even know what you're making. But I would rethink that 10%. That's not enough to run a business. You're not going to do that. You're probably going to have to near 50% or more in order for you to make any money at this business. My guess. All right, just thinking as a normal retail, you're going to have to get it up there. But I like your ideas, and thinking you're going to get business because it's on the cheap. It doesn't work out too well that way unless you've got to do a monster volume in order to make 60 cents on a $6 item. You're going to have to do a lot of them to pay $500,000 for a building and pay yourselves money.
The total revenue was an incredibly conservative estimate of
Okay, well that's good.
it can grow to so much more. That is just the lowest thing, because that's only at around 27 people a day once we start going, which is not a lot based on the standard. Because same way with the library, if you just give us a drawing and have us make it, you just put your name on it and you can just hand deliver it. You don't have to sit there. So I think that a lot more people than that will come in.
Well, that's great. I like that. I like the idea that you're accessible to customers, and where you're at, you can park there, and the library. I don't know where you got to walk around downtown for quite a while to get to the right spot. But I like what you got there. My other question that I had was you have no startup marketing or or advertising. And word of mouth is great, it's the best advertising, I agree, but not when you're starting up. It's gonna be too slow for you. I mean, you're gonna wait for one person to walk through your door, and then they're gonna tell somebody, and now you got maybe 2 people coming through. You know, you're gonna have to get a rush coming in to begin with. So I would rethink again how much you wanna pay to get people to know you're there and what you do. You got a great idea. I don't know anything about 3D printing, but that looks cool right there. I like that thing.
Daniel?
Yeah. Also going to fourth, that 3D printing is the technology of the future. It's everywhere when you look at all the technology shows, and the technology behind it is growing so fast. So you guys are really in a good market for that. Love that it's a local business, keeping it here in Fort Wayne. I'm always a fan of businesses that keep it local instead of outsourcing. My couple wonders for you guys. You said you guys created a Twitter and word of mouth, and like he said, is that enough for this industry to start up your?
I don't think that is enough on the very startup, but that is our plan for long term, is that we don't want to have advertisements like every month like some places. Of course we do want to have advertising right in the beginning. We do have a budget set aside for that, but we don't want to have like just keep pounding everybody with advertisements and radio spots every single month.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, why not?
Because, as I said, when you hear an advertisement, say you've heard it, you know, the car dealership advertisements like play like literally every 15 minutes. It gets really annoying, and you just wish that they would stop. We don't want to be those people who just annoy you to death. We want to be the people that your friend says is the place to go to.
Keep in mind though, I'm in the car business.
But it drives traffic.
I mean, everybody knows Fred Grody. I know Fred Grody personally, and the reason he does that is because when I say Fred Grody, you know who Fred Grody is. So whether you believe, whether you think you're annoying people or not, you may be, but people aren't going to forget who the heck you are.
And you just proved that, but just using that as an example, like.
We all know who he is.
Yeah, like the car, you hear a car. I mean, I don't listen to the radio that much, but like, car commercials are on all the time, but you just use that as an example. So that's definitely in the back of your head that these car commercials are on all the time and you know about them.
Where's the giant American flag?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So that was basically my point yeah, you don't want to be annoying, but you also have to be smart about what you're using your advertising. Like Twitter might not be the best channel for your business. People that are going to be on Twitter are not going to be the people that are looking for a 3D printer. So I'm just thinking, think about other ideas of how to get that word out there. And then my last one is, did you ever consider that you're limiting your customer base to people that can design CAD designs? Do you think that you guys could have a staff of designers that can be
That's
hired?
exactly what we have.
Okay, I'm missing this
That's
that
exactly
one.
what we have. We just have people that, as long as they can make a drawing of it, which we can provide paper, like isometric paper, which if you don't know what that is, it's gridded paper in triangles that's used for 3D designs. And what they can do is they just make a multi-view, like I said, where you put the front, right side, left side, and top side, and then we make it ourselves in CAD for them.
Could you take it a step further and say, hey, if you give me a picture of something that you like, we can take it and design it for you? Because as a mom, as a working mom, I'm not gonna sit down and design something, because that's not me.
And I wouldn't want to see what a 3D printing of my drawing looks like, because that's going to be
I mean, you
awesome.
will have people that will definitely do that because they want it to be exactly the way they want it. But as me, I'm like, this would be nice for me and my son to have this model airplane in 3D. Can you guys do that?
Yeah, it'd be super duper easy as long as it's if there are already plans out there. Because I'd say if you're gonna get a picture, there's probably already plans for it out there. If there's already plans for it out there, we already know the outline. We can just get that and make it ourselves.
But that's your job, not me.
Yeah, see, I agree with that, because I can't draw a
That's a
stick
service
person.
that's gonna set you apart from the library. You need to find someone that can have those on file or something. They have a database full of designs, so that when I say, I want this airplane, you might not be able to produce the exact airplane, but you say, hey, this is what we have on file, this is what we have available.
I think you misunderstood what I said. I said that if you just show us the picture, like you said that you want this airplane, you said that you were taking it just from a picture, then we could probably find that exact plans for that ourselves. You would have to draw them yourself.
Erica?
Would it be possible for you to have a designer sitting there and I just have in my head what I want, maybe it was this, but I
Almost like a tattoo artist.
Yeah,
where
like,
hey,
this
I
is
like
kind of
this,
my
this,
idea.
This. Can you make
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I want
Okay.
this,
Completely.
and then you design it right there, and then I approve, like, yes, I like that, and then you can make it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that would help as well, because I have no artistic ability
The
whatsoever.
idea,
I know
the
what good
idea
art
of
looks
a,
like. I can't make it.
the idea of a sketch artist came up, which could be possible if people came in and wanted to tell us their idea, but didn't have the time or didn't feel they were able to draw it all out themselves. We could have like an artist there available so that they could like tell them, it's like, okay, I see, so like this, like a
And
mugshot artist or something.
this is completely possible because we're gonna have two computers with CAD on them, which are gonna be right at the front desk, right there, if you wanna talk to them, alright? And then once we like see your design in CAD, after we talk about it, then we can determine your price by the phone.
Miss, do you have any questions for them, or are you good?
I was just gonna do some bullet points. Consider the Innovation Center as your place for your business starting out. There's a lot of startup businesses that are located there. I think by focusing just on the public sector, you're missing out on the private sector that could definitely use your services if you have a designer in-house. I have a designer. And your stand apart, to make yourself different. Make yourself available to go visit your clients, not have them always come to you. And make sure you have a presence on LinkedIn.
Okay, good job, guys. Good job.